Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight at the North Carolina Speedway for the Subway 400 at The Rock. And this is going to be a special one because this is a NASCAR track that is no longer on the circuit, but we get to race it here in this old NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 video game. It is race number 15 of the custom schedule. Season 21 races still to go following this one tonight in the quest for the championship and to try and win our first season-long points format championship on the channel right here on this NASCAR EA Sports video game. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's full race live stream with a realistic commentary, realistic broadcast as usual right here on the channel. Qualified on the pole with our driver Greg Biffle, and we have the Subway paint scheme for the Subway 400. Coincidentally, I should say maybe it isn't a coincidence that the Subway car qualified on the pole for the Subway race, but we'll see if that Subway car can go to victory lane in the Subway race today. We're about to find out. 400 miles, 393 laps of action today at Rockingham. And let's get this one underway here today. Greg Biffle will be leading the field to the green, following a 15th place finish at Sonoma last night. We'll see what will happen today as the green flag is upon us and already into turns 1 and 2. It is Greg Biffle who is actually going to put it in the wall on the opening lap of the race, and Scott Riggs is going to be able to get up to the lead. Tony Stewart to the bottom for second. That was a costly mistake for Greg Biffle. He pushed it too hard, got back in the gas a little too soon. And Scott Riggs from third place is going to lead the opening lap, but Biffle stuck on the outside now. That was a terrible start for the pole sitter. Trying to side draft Ray Parker as much as he possibly can. Down the back straightaway, trying to hang on. Gets a little bit loose into turn 3, and now teammate Matt Kenseth to the inside of Greg Biffle. 2 by 2 off the exit of turn 4. Biffle a little loose again as he hangs on to it, but finally gets down to the bottom lane in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Nearly 3 wide as Matt Kenseth makes a pass of both Ricky Rudd and Ray Parker to get up to third. Contact with Dale Jr. down the backstretch. Into turn 3, and here comes Jimmy Johnson 3 wide. Car in the wall, sandwiched between 2 others. Ryan Newman with contact from, I believe, Sterling Marlin and Kurt Busch. But we stay green, and Riggs is under fire now for the race lead from Tony Stewart. Johnson gets an old bump and run from Greg Biffle. Biffle can't get underneath him, though, off the exit of turn 4. He's just going to have to follow Johnson to get by Parker, it looks like. Billy Kramer, Dark Crypto, and Jerry Fasnat, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you can park it in victory lane. I hope so too. Remember, this is the last race at Rockingham ever on the channel, at least for NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, because this was the last season in which NASCAR had raced at Rockingham in 2004. There was a photo finish in that race between Matt Kenseth and Case Kane. Are we going to see a photo finish today? We'll have to find out at the end of the night. Might be a test of survival, though, on this old surface here at Rockingham. Very bumpy racetrack. Pretty much races like a short track. Riggs still holding on to the lead for now. Tony Stewart to the inside finally into turns 1 and 2, and Tony Stewart will be able to lead his first lap of the race. When they get back to the start-finish line, he is clear off of turn 2 on Riggs. Biffle back to the inside of Johnson after falling back to 7th. Despite qualifying on the pole, Ricky Rudd back to the inside of Kenseth as they hold each other up. Here comes Biffle to the inside. 3 wide contact up high. Kenseth got squeezed into the wall. Ricky Rudd got into him. What a crazy start here at Rockingham, and Scott Riggs, meanwhile, has crossed Tony Stewart back over for the lead again. So the rookie Riggs is not going anywhere. And he pulled Stewart by about a half a car length through turns 3 and 4 that last time. And now Stewart looking to make a pass underneath Riggs. He got off at turn 2 really well. They're side by side. That's going to allow Biffle to drive it in deep down to the bottom. He squeezes underneath Stewart, who clears Riggs off of turn 4. Tony Stewart back in the lead at the rock with Biffle to the inside, trying to take the lead. Riggs drops back down to the bottom behind the 16 of Biffle. Up high, Stewart nearly gets into the wall. Biffle's clearing the 20, and here comes Scott Riggs to the inside of Biffle. Into turns 3 and 4, door to door. And Riggs will lead. Biffle has not led a lap yet. And he's stuck on the outside again. Contact with Tony Stewart. Stewart's into the wall on the outside. Ray Parker to third. Kenseth to fourth. And Tony Stewart, who overdrove turns 1 and 2, he's going to lose a ton of positions. Seth Thomas, welcome to the stream. 12 laps in, so far so good as far as green flag goes, but it has been action-packed from that drop of the green flag. Welcome to the Rock indeed. We're going to send off Rockingham loud and proud tonight. Last cup race ever at Rockingham. Right here on the channel as we get to try and recreate history, at least with it being the last race here. Obviously not the same part of the season with the custom schedule season. It's not the very beginning of the year, about midway through the season. Surprised that wasn't a caution too. I did not think Scott Riggs was going to be leading like this early on. He looks strong. He's gotten passed by both Biffle and Stewart, but he's gotten back around him. Matt Kenseth, meanwhile, will jump up to third place as Greg Biffle sits behind Riggs again. Biffle just trying to get 5 bonus points if he could help it. Slow car on the back straightaway trying to work his way onto pit road as somebody has blown an engine. And we'll see who it is this time by. It is Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. So tough break for Jamie Mack. It looks like his day is going to come to an end very early on. Tough break for him. He had engine issues in the Brickyard 400 a few races ago as well. Eleven people watching, only 6 likes. Smash the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal tonight is 25 likes on the channel, and on this stream, I should say. I think we can get there. We're only 4 subscribers away from 1.62 thousand subscribers, so let's see if we can get that tonight as well. Can't tell who that is in third. It looks like it might be Dale Earnhardt Jr. Tough to tell for sure. Riggs is driving it in so deep on corner entry that Biffle has no chance to get underneath him. It's allowing Biffle to win the race back to the gas off the exit of the corner, but by the time he closes to the back bumper of Riggs, Riggs is able to dive bomb a little bit deeper into the next following corner while Biffle has to just sit behind him. He better make his move fairly quick here or he's going to lose out on an opportunity to potentially take the lead. Greg Biffle on the back bumper still. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. So after a wild opening dozen laps, it has calmed down at least a little bit. A 2-car race, but potentially a 3-car race for the lead coming up very shortly. At least Seth was able to lead on a 1-mile track from the pole on the first lap. We were not. Despite the fact that I started on the pole just as well as you did. I just overdrove the exit of the corner. That's the sad part. Biffle was clear in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Just got back in the gas too soon and got into the wall. right off the exit of the corner. That is Dale Earnhardt Jr. in third place, who has closed in. Scott Riggs maybe not quite having the long run speed. Biffle rounded out the exit to turn 4 a lot better that time. He's all over the back of Riggs. He's going to try to back up turns 1 and 2 to get an even bigger run than what he was already getting beforehand. Really low down the back straightaway, but he'll have to pull back up in line again as he just can't get to the inside of Riggs. It's got to be frustrating how close Greg Biffle is to not be able to actually make that pull out, make that pass for the lead yet. Dale Jr. going to try the outside through turns 1 and 2. Poking out as much clean air as possible. Maybe he'll have a run down the backstretch to get around Biffle. The longer it takes Biffle to get around Riggs, Dale Jr. might be able to steal second place. Westman, welcome to the stream. I do still play NASCAR 21 Ignition. About once a week or so on the channel. Our next stream will be Saturday night for that game at COTA. Leading you up to the Cup Series race Sunday at COTA. We'll be doing the live commentary of on the channel for that Sunday race day. Go back to the far chase cam for now when we get back to the start-finish line right here. 27, Scott Riggs. He's been qualifying well. He's got a couple poles this year. He qualified third today as well, but in those other 2 races he qualified on the pole, one of which he didn't even lead a single lap, DNF with a blown engine finishing last, and the other one he was able to lead laps early on, but he fell to the back pretty quick. Gotta say though, right now Scott Riggs is hanging on strong. 28 laps in, he still got the lead. He lost it for a lap or 2 to Tony Stewart, but then he passed him right back. Biffle's been sitting here in second the whole way. Biffle getting really, really loose into turn 3. He's going to wash up the racetrack, and Dale Jr. is going to have a good corner exit, but he can't quite get to the inside of the 16. So as the run continues, it's becoming harder and harder for these drivers to hang on. Contact between Dale Jr. and Greg Biffle. Biffle hangs onto his car. Dale Jr. barely kept it off the outside wall as well. Great save by both drivers. And now Jimmy Johnson in 4th is trying to close in on the battle for the lead as well. So driving in pretty flat into turns 3 and 4. Again, he'll go back up the racetrack as Dale Jr. tries to close to the inside. Biffle trying to hang on, but he's not going to be able to, and he's going to lose second place to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. has a full head of steam down the backstretch. Remember, Dale Jr. won our Busch Series race at Rockingham early in the custom schedule season for the Busch Series, trying to get the sweep by winning the Cup race today. And he's got a massive run. He's going to try to lead his first lap of the race here before long. He overdrives turn 1 entrance, though, and Greg Biffle dives underneath him. It'll take over second. Clear off of turn 2. Junior lost a lot of ground that last lap. Had a fuel mileage race last night at Infineon where Greg Biffle led with about a half a lap to go before running out of gas. That gave the win to Tony Stewart. who was in third coming to the white flag. Dale Jr. finished in second. He was unable to get around Biffle first. It was Stewart who passed both Dale Jr. and Biffle to win the race. Dale Jr. is still searching for his first Cup win of the season, despite the fact he does have one Busch win in the custom schedule season so far. He is second in points. He did close in with that second place run and led some laps yesterday. In fact, he led the most laps in yesterday's race, so 10 bonus points plus a second place finish versus Greg Biffle falling back and finishing 15th before he was able to coast it back around to the checkered flag. And he was able to get 5 bonus points, leading 14 of the 110 laps in the race as well. It's still a tough break, as that points lead got cut down pretty dramatically on the final lap yesterday at Sonoma. Dale Jr. gets into the wall off the exit of turn 2. Pushing extremely hard, trying to get back. Ryan Newman in 5th place starting to close in as well. Everybody's slowly bunching back together. I think that's because the pace for Scott Riggs has fallen off, but he's running quick enough to be able to hold on to the lead. No matter who's in second behind him, whether it's Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, or even Dale Jr. there for about a lap or two. Biffle gonna go down low. Riggs gonna arc the corner off through turns 1 and 2. Dale Jr. gonna try the outside in turns 1 and 2 as well. Biffle holds on to the white line pretty well. He sits behind Riggs. Down into turns 1 and 2. Biffle on the white line, but Riggs gets the runoff corner exit. Not enough, though, to clear the 16 of Biffle. Biffle able to side draft that left rear corner panel on Riggs just a little bit. Off the exit of turn 4, Biffle is clear. Riggs is in the wall off of turn 4. Junior to the inside of him for second. First lap led of the day. 41 laps after qualifying on the pole. Greg Biffle will finally lead a lap at the Rock. Riggs is able to hold on to second for the moment on Dale Earnhardt Jr., who somehow was not able to get around him despite Riggs getting into the wall off of turn 4. And now, a lap later, Jr. will make the pass for second on Riggs. Jimmy Johnson looking to get up to third. Riggs is starting to go backwards after losing the lead a lap ago. So I saw somebody say something about NASCAR 15 custom season or custom schedule season. I didn't know that the U-Technics games had custom schedule seasons. I've never played any of them, so I didn't know. That's good to know, though, for down the line. Dale Jr. gonna overdrive turns 1 and 2. Looks like Ryan Newman is up to third place. He passed both Scott Riggs and Jimmy Johnson that last lap. So the Rocket Man rocketing forward through the field. Up to P3. Track position. It doesn't matter what track you're on. Track position is a big factor. Some tracks a lot more so than others. This is one that is a little interesting, because there's a lot of wear. It's probably one of the easier tracks to make a pass on, even though it looked like Scott Riggs with the clean air was able to hold on for a while. And I see Dale Jr. in second place. He's trying to find a way to get a run on Biffle, but Biffle's the one with the clean air, probably a stronger car than Riggs as well. And Dale Jr.'s having a hard time with it. Junior looks low. What an exit to turn 2 for Dale Jr. Biffle going to try to back up turns 3 and 4. Can he cross Junior over? No, he will not. And Dale Jr. will get 5 bonus points, leading his first lap of the race. 4th different leader already in this one. He's trying to get him loose. He did! The intimidation button works again on the Intimidator's son. Greg Biffle to the lead. After Junior led 1 lap, you can see his car moving around a lot in turns 1 and 2, and Dale Jr. was not able to hang on, and Greg Biffle will lead by about 3 to 4 car lengths at the line the next time by. At least Junior is able to get 5 bonus points for leading just that 1 lap, though. That was crucial. But right when it looked like he was starting to pull away, Biffle, last-ditch effort, just trying to put the pressure on him. Junior made a simple mistake. Did a great job keeping it off the wall, but he lost the lead, having to get out of the gas. That was pretty smooth, I'm not going to lie. Oh, you did a really short race there, Seth. Mark DeMars, welcome to the stream. Yeah, lap 50 already in this one. We are caution free. That really flew by, I'm not going to lie. We've had a lot of action in this one, though. That probably helps. Dale Jr. looking to get to the inside of Biffle again. Biffle trying to crowd the 8, and a big block in the tri-oval as Biffle will hang on to the lead. He overdrives turns 1 and 2 just a little bit, but he hangs on in front of Dale Jr. still. And here comes Ryan Newman knocking on the doorstep for the race lead as well. Newman is in 3rd. Working on Dale Jr. for 2nd. 3-car getaway at the front of the field right now, 52 laps in. Caution free, as mentioned. We had 4 yellows last night at Infineon, but only 2 at Michigan 2 races ago. A caution-free Bristol Day race 4 races ago, and 1 caution in the Brickyard 400 3 races ago. So outside of Infineon last night, the last 3 ovals that we have ran, granted Infineon's a road course, but the last 3 ovals we have ran 3 races, 3 combined yellows in those 3 races. So long green flag run to start things out here today, probably not surprising, even though we've been close to a few yellows early on. Ryan Newman takes away 2nd place, cleared Dale Jr., but Jr. will cross him back over on the bottom lane through 3 and 4 as Ryan Newman couldn't hook up the inside line. Washed up the track just a little bit. Jr. slides up in front of Newman. Newman going to try to cross him back over in turns 1 and 2 again. Great battle for 2nd going on between the 12 and the 8. Dale Jr. has the same amount of top 5s and top 10s as Greg Biffle. The big difference maker and why Biffle has an 81-point lead over Dale Jr., which isn't much under this format. It's about a half of a race worth of points, if that. But the reason why it is that big is because Greg Biffle has 8 wins to Dale Jr.'s 0. So can tonight be the night Greg Biffle gets his 10th career win? He's been close the last 2 races, but he hasn't been able to get it done. He had a 2nd place finish at Michigan, and then he finished 15th at Sonoma despite leading coming to the final lap. Ryan Newman had a big run on the outside in turns 1 and 2, and if he actually, oh man, he might pull it off. Dale Jr. tried to take it 3 wide. Big block by Newman, and he's going to have the lead in turn 3. 5 bonus points. Ryan Newman leads his first lap. Here comes Junior down to the inside, looking for it at least. Biffle is underneath Ryan Newman. Newman is so strong on the outside. Pulls the block. Biffle's looking extremely low. Into turn 1 they go. Slides up the racetrack. He's going to clear Newman off the exit of turn 2. And here comes Dale Jr. to the inside of Ryan Newman for 2nd place as well as Biffle gets down to the bottom. Jr. slides into 2nd. Newman loses 2 spots that lap. I don't know how Newman got around me on the outside. That was a power move and a half, especially at Rockingham. Newman back into second place, so again, after Dale Jr. loses a spot, and he's trying to fend off Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jarrett, I believe Kevin Harvick are the 3 cars behind him. Matt Kenseth as well in the top 10 in that group. Dale Jarrett pulls out a line on the back straightaway to try and move up to 4th on Johnson. They're side by side for position into turns 3 and 4, and Jarrett will clear him off the exit of the corner. Newman's strong suit is turns 1 and 2, especially on the exit of 2. We got around Biffle in the top before. Now he's trying to do it on the bottom. Into turn 3. Newman hooks the white line. He actually had his left sides down below it. Newman is going to be potentially clear off turn 4, and he is. Another lead change in this race. Early on, contact into turn 1. Dale Jr. nearly got turned off the front bumper of the 16. That's going to allow Newman to get away and have Dale Jarrett move up to 3rd place. What a run for the UPS Ford. Biffle's back to 4th all of a sudden. Smell what the Rock is racing. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. You mean to say, do you smell what the Rock is racing? Gotta do that, like, tongue thing. He doesn't, like, roll his L. I don't know. It's like a little kid when they're like, nah, 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 nah. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know what you would call that. Biffle's just struggling off the exit of turn 2. But he closes a ton into turn 3, and he gets right back to the back bumper of the 88. Newman is holding on in front of Dale Jr. for the time being. Biffle looking low. Can't get around Jarrett there. Oh, Jr. got out of shape. Biffle puts the bumper to the back of the 88. It's going to allow Biffle to get to the inside now, into turn 1. 2x2, or at least side by side for 3rd place, and Biffle's clear. Junior's going to have to try and run down Newman again, and Dale Jarrett, meanwhile, just got the wall off the exit of turn 2, pushing hard, trying to get the crossover potentially on Biffle, but now he has no shot at it whatsoever. 8 likes already on the stream, 14 people currently watching. Again, hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal is 25 likes tonight. It's been a couple races since we have had 20 likes, at least for the full race commentary. It was both last night and the night before, but I think that's because I took a few days off at Atlanta, and you guys probably didn't know I was back. But I am back, and we'll be going to another race here for about another month before Dirt Bristol, so consistent action going to be coming up on the channel over those next few weeks. The Rock is one of the best. Yes, he is. Very entertaining. He was one for laying the smackdown of those jabronis. Should be able to go right around 100 laps on fuel, so as long as cautions don't play too much into effect tonight, it should be a 3 pit stop race. Biffle's a little less than a second and a half back, about 1.1 seconds off the lead into turns 1 and 2. Ryan Newman has caught the back of lap traffic for the first time today. Surprised they actually took 70 laps, considering this is about a 1-mile racetrack in length. Newman is there now, and he is underneath his first lap car, and he'll clear him off the exit of turn 4. Kyle Petty was the first one to go lap down, by the way. It's a matter of who's going to get through the lap traffic better. By the way, Harvick, a couple laps ago when Biffle got around Jarrett, was also able to get around him. Jarrett, when he got in the wall, lost a lot of momentum, and Harvick was able to get inside and eventually clear him the next lap. Biffle gets around Kyle Petty with ease. Contact. I think it was behind Newman. Some of the lap cars he just got around made contact with each other. I gotta say, Newman's getting through the lap traffic really well right now. So is Greg Biffle. Dale Jr. is for the most part, but he's not getting through it as quickly as the 16 and the 12. Biffle getting pinched by the 145, gets really loose. Flatlining turn 3. Newman side by side with Mark Martin and has been for a couple laps. Dale Jr. to the back bumper of the 12 now after losing ground at first. He has now reeled him back in. A quarter of tank of gas left under, or I should say left, for Greg Biffle in the 16. I would assume that's like that for most of the field. Nobody has made a stop yet except for McMurray, who has pulled off the track. Side by side for the lead, off of turn 4. Dale Jr., Ryan Newman, side by side. Jr. down low, Newman on the outside. Dale Jr. led that last lap at the line. Newman stays wide in turns 1 and 2, so the lap traffic in which Newman was getting around pretty quickly originally now has cost him the lead, as it took him a while to get around both Mark Martin and Ricky Craven. People flying by all those lap cars that the 12 struggled to get around. And now the top 3 have no lap cars in between them. Xfinity Series is going to be a NASCAR 22. It's interesting that they would have that, but they wouldn't have both the Xfinity and the truck. Greg Biffle trying the middle groove through 3 and 4. Might give him a little bit of a run down the front stretch on the 12 of Newman. Maybe not enough of a run, though, to be able to pull out and make a pass that time. Couple lap cars running side by side right in front of Dale Jr. Big hit from the 16 to the back of the 12. Junior underneath the 137 of Chad Coleman. 111 car right there as well, but Newman's going to use the 111 as a pick to get underneath Dale Jr. And Newman is going to pit this time off of turn 4. So never mind, Dale Jr. will lead that lap in the line. So lap 82, Ryan Newman already pulls into the pits. He was in a good spot to take the lead. But he's going to short pit this first run so he can hopefully cycle back to the lead no problem this next time around. Will Dale Jr. pit anytime soon as well? Biffle on the outside. He'll take the lead as Dale Jr. pits the following lap after Newman. Biffle could go a little bit longer on fuel yet. He's going to stay out. He'll lead another lap, and he might as well stay out just in case we get a caution. Get some extra laps led in here, because he hasn't led many today. Never know. Thank Jimmy Johnson. Welcome to the stream. A lot of cars are on pit road or are on their way onto pit road as we speak, but Greg Biffle is the race leader. About the third different time today. I'm assuming you meant to say the Biff instead of the boot. Probably auto-corrected you. Biff is doing pretty good. Was in third place right before the green flag pit stop started. Leading some laps now. Hoping for a caution in the middle of green flag stops. That would trap a lot of those faster cars a lap down. Potentially 2 laps down, considering it's only a 1-mile racetrack. He's going to lose a lot of time on pit road, though. Mr. Clinker is going to have a clean stop. They were unable to do that at Infineon last night. They had a big mistake, which almost costed Biffle a chance to win. He ended up running out of fuel anyway by the end, so not that it would have mattered in hindsight, but at the time, when he cycled out in third, it was looking pretty tough as if he was going to be able to make up those 6 seconds on race leader Dale Jr. at the time. I think Ricky Rudd just got into the wall off of turn 2 back behind Biffle. Biffle to the inside of his teammate Jeff Burton. Stuck behind the 145 car. Right front tire starting to really get worn for the Biff. By the way, shout out to Greg Biffle getting the top 20 finish for New York Racing this weekend at Atlanta. Nothing too big to write home about. Oh, Ricky Rudd tagging the left rear of Biffle off the exit of turn 4. Biffle got a little sideways, but he was able to steer out of it. Scott Riggs again. We got cars checking up down the backstretch. It's Rusty Wallace in the 2 coming out of the pit lane down on the bottom. Biffle went high to get around Bobby Labonte, but he couldn't clear him back down to the inside. Wallace pulls clear of the 10 of Riggs. Labonte has cleared Biffle right back, and it looks like he's going to be able to get around both Scott Riggs and Rusty Wallace as well. Oh, Riggs off the wall. Biffle to the inside of Wallace. Biffle just ran the 2 car up the track. They had a little bit of contact, and that probably what led to Wallace getting into the wall off of turn 2 that time. Fuel tank almost dry for Greg Biffle. Wants to definitely make sure he can make it on 3 stops, so he'll push it a little bit further here. At least a couple more laps. A little bit sideways. Into turn 3. Hangs on in front of Ricky Rudd for now. Rudd almost gets underneath him anyway. Biffle really loose down into turns 1 and 2, and Rudd gets by on the outside. It was a big slide by the 16. Definitely struggling on 96 lap old tires. He's going to try to go to lap 98 before pitting. It's lap 97 this time by. So Biffle will go to lap 98, and then he'll pit. Hopefully he can make it on fuel. Staying out off of turn 4 this time. Definitely a gamble going that far. There's another lap led at the line. And he has a 1 lap lead on the field. He's the only car that still has to make his first stop of the day. And he will make it up fuel long enough. Into the middle of turns 3 and 4. 70 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit at every track on this game. Greg Biffle will easily get to break down to 63 by the time he hits the commitment line. 4 tires of fuel for the Biff, no adjustments. And 4 tires, and the Mr. Clean crew will go to work. Inside Uranus, welcome to the stream. Am I excited for COTA? Interested to see how the Cup cars will run at COTA. Of course, the first road course race of the next-gen car. It was stated before the next-gen car even came out, short tracks and road courses were going to be big emphasis points as far as the racing product, so interested to see how the first road course race will definitely be. And the fact that COTA had rain last year as well, hoping for some dry conditions this weekend in all 3 series. So Dale Jr. will cycle into the lead. And it looks like Greg Biffle's going to be second, so Ryan Newman must have had a really slow pit stop because he is not in the top 3. And he was the first car to hit pit road. But Dale Jr. is about 1.7 seconds in front of Greg Biffle. Biffle pit at lap 98. Dale Jr. pit at lap 83. So Biffle's able to get an extra 15 laps led in there, but now Dale Jr. is back out in front again. And I believe Scott Riggs up to this point has still led the most, but Dale Jr. is quickly closing in on that total. And Riggs is put down early. R6, welcome to the stream as well. Yeah, major penalty for Brad Keselowski in that 16 today. L2 penalty. I'm not sure exactly what for. They haven't specified, at least on anything that I've seen. I wish it would come right out and tell you what they failed, especially when it's something that big of a penalty. But anyway, it was a major penalty. $100,000 fine for the crew chief. He's also suspended 4 races, but the big thing for that 6 team as a whole, driver and owner points, they'll be deducted 100 points. That's going to drop him from 16th in the regular season standings, where he's at right now. He would have been on the bubble following Atlanta. Now he is back to 35th in the point standings, and he will go with just 22 driver points now on the year. If they make the playoffs, he will also get deducted 10 playoff points. Remember, not only he has to, if he doesn't get back in the top 16 in points, which he's going to be over 100 points behind 16th now. Biff will get around the lap car of Johnny Sauter. Still 1.3 to 1.4 seconds behind Dale Jr. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about the penalty. There we go. Yeah, so anyway, what I was talking about anyway with the penalty with Brad Keselowski. So you got all that at stake. But he also has to be in the top 30 in points with a win to get in. And he is 35th right now. I think 30th in points as we speak would be BJ McLeod. And hold that, we have a caution for the first time today. Trouble in turn 2. Bringing out our first yellow of the race. Oh, big hit. Casey Mears gets clobbered by Ray Parker. I think he got the wall before that. He was up on the left side tires after smoking the wall, and then when he came back down on all 4, backing down the banking of the track at turn 2, he gets clobbered on the right side door towards that right front tire. And everybody's going to stay out of the pits here, considering that everybody just pit not that long ago. And we'll come to our first restart of the race. Dale Jr. leads the field to the green. Here at Rockingham. Biffle trying to get to the bottom as soon as he can. It's going to be a race as far as who could get to the bottom first. Oh, Dale Jr. just cut off Scott Wimmer, who pulled up in front of Biffle. I think there was contact between the 22 and the 8. Either way, it's going to be Jr. getting to the lead because of it, or holding on to the lead. Got around the lap car of Dusty Gibson. And that checked Biffle up enough that by the time he gets around Gibson in turns 1 and 2, Jr.'s already about a half a second ahead. Gibson scrapes the wall off of turn 2 now. Everybody throwing on back, still trying to fight to get to the bottom lane. Oh, he doesn't have to be in the top 30 now? When did they do away with that? I thought you had to be in the top 30 and have a win. Biffle closed a ton. And turns 3 and 4. DB Forever 85, welcome to the stream. We'll alternate through the different camera angles once again in today's race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads at the Rock. The Rock! I know it used to be you had to be in the top 30. But anyway, what I was going to say, BJ McLeod is 30th in points now. I'm not worried about Keselowski catching McLeod in points. But Harrison Burton is outside the top 30 with a rough start this year. And I think Harrison Burton can dig himself out of that. And he's already 30 points ahead of Keselowski right now. And that's a lot to gain on a Wood Brothers car. Now, obviously, he's going to have time to do it. But I'm assuming Harrison Burton's going to have at least a few good runs in him sometime soon. Starting sometime soon. He's just having terrible, terrible luck to start this 2022 season. They changed it last year. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know about that. Top 2 are really pulling away, by the way, right now. Dale Jr. and Greg Biffle. I don't know if maybe third place or somebody up towards the front of that pack got into the wall, but one way or another, it is a 2-car breakaway for the time being. And Greg Biffle is working on Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently for the race lead. Seems like Dale Jr. starting to pull Greg Biffle just a little bit. Biffle charges hard in turns 1 and 2, trying to close this gap. He's struggling on the exit of turn 2 when he was on older tires. He's only got about a little less than 20 laps on him now after those caution laps. The rule's still in effect until the charter system is renewed. What, the top 30 with the win? Tickets for Richmond in 2 weeks. All right, congrats, man. I haven't been to Richmond yet. It's only like 7 hours from where I live. I think it's the only track within like 12 hours that I haven't been to yet. But I don't plan on going there this year. I think I would have if they didn't move their second date out of the playoffs. So I figure I'd wait. Maybe they'll get a playoff date again sometime soon. Or a night race, one of the two. Because both races are in the day this year. Neither one's in the playoffs, so I didn't want to really go to either one this year. Figured go to some other tracks this year. Auto Club, with it being, at least going into the year, it was supposed to be the final year at the 2 Mile Auto Club. That might not be the case anymore, but wanted to go there. A couple other tracks I want to hit up. I'll be at Kansas for the first time this season. Daytona 500 was my first ever trip to Daytona. What other new tracks am I going to this year? Phoenix for the championship at the end of the year. Then I think every other track is the same that I've been to. It's just a different race. Like Bristol, I was at the night race and the All-Star race, but see it on dirt this year. I'll see another Talladega race in the fall as well. Atlanta with the repave is much different from old Atlanta. Greg Biffle trying to reel Dale Jr. back in. Into turns 3 and 4. Junior checked up quite a bit that time. Oh, we got Junior loose. Junior almost got into the wall. He nearly overcorrected off the exit of turn 2, and Greg Biffle will take the lead for the second time today from Dale Jr., and this time it's going to be after intimidating him once again. Turns 1 and 2, he got him out of shape earlier in the race as well. Hey, Sonoma would be a new track for me. You get the pick, though, too, so I'm not going to tell you, exactly. But, hey, that'd be cool. Honestly, next season, I plan it out right. I should be able to get to every track I haven't been to yet by next year. Because after this year, the only ones I'd still have to go to for the first time would be Richmond, like I just mentioned. I haven't been to New Hampshire yet. Sonoma, as you mentioned. Texas and Coda, and I think that's it. Homestead. Forgot Homestead. So that's 6 tracks after this season I haven't been to. And then I will have been to all the tracks in the Cup Series. And that's even counting Kentucky and Chicagoland, which are no longer on the schedule. Any of the new tracks that have been added. Oh, Gateway. I'll be at Gateway for the first time this year, too. Forgot. But that's the first Cup date they ever get, also. But I forgot to count it. But yeah, I mean, all the new tracks, too, like Road America, Nashville I've been at. The Roval within the last few years, I've been there once. All the different configurations of, like, and reconfigurations with ovals like Atlanta, or like they brought the Indianapolis road course on the schedule, Dirt Bristol this year. Been to both the oval and the Roval at Charlotte. Junior hasn't had a really good shot to get around Greg Biffle since Biffle took the lead a handful of laps ago. $13 likes on the stream right now. Our goal is 25. We're halfway there. We're not even halfway done with this race, so greatly appreciate you guys smashing that like button already tonight. Again, we were only 4 subs away from 1.62, or sorry, yeah, 1.62 thousand as well. I think we can get there by the end of the night also. So a lot of tracks started going, what, 2015. And I actually didn't go to another track outside of Michigan until 2018. The thing is, I just go to different tracks, so very few tracks that I've actually been at more than once. Outside of Michigan, which is only an hour and a half from where I live, and being my home track, the only tracks I've been to more than once is Bristol twice, Talladega twice, and I think that's it. Every other track I've been to, that I have been to, at least for one race, I've only been there once. I guess Indianapolis, technically, I've been there twice, because I was there for the Oval and the road course was 2 completely different racetracks. Same thing with the Oval and the Roval at Charlotte. I've been at one of each. Those are 2 completely different tracks, too. It's at the same facility, but 2 completely different tracks. Yeah, once I... Oh, I forgot about Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas yet either, so I guess that's 7. But I should be able to get to those next year. Barring scheduling conflicts when next year's schedule comes out sometime later this season. As long as it's not like, you know, 3, like I could get to back-to-back. I've done it before. I went to 4 races in a row last year, but that was because I went to Pocono for the doubleheader, which I guess technically that'd be 2 Pocono Cup races also, but that was in the same weekend. Anyway, I was at both of those races, so that'd be 1-2, and then I was at Nashville and Road America. They all fell 3 weeks in a row, so I was at 4 Cup races in a row technically. But yeah, probably not going to be able to do that again. My dream would be to go to all the races in a season once. I'm not going to be able to do that anytime soon, though. The first one I wanted to get to every track, and then the second time I want to go to every track in a season. But I'm not going to be able to do that, like I said, anytime soon. Likelihood of that is if I get into the sport of NASCAR and get to commentate, and then I get to cross that off my bucket list. But as of right now, it's not going to be the case. Junior looking low off of turn 4. He may get there. Biffle trying to crowd him, and he's going to throw the block. And he makes it in time, but he slides up the track again in turns 1 and 2. And again, Junior rounds the bottom well, and he clears Biffle off of turn 2. Crossover time, though, in turns 3 and 4 on the other end. But he can't quite get underneath him. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. will take the lead back at Rockingham from Greg Biffle. And he may have gotten him loose again. Not enough, though, to be able to take the lead. Car blowing up on the bottom of the racetrack. It's the 111 as he'll be able to get to pit road. We continue to stay green. Got Junior loose and out of shape. Third different time Greg Biffle's been able to intimidate the 8 of Dale Jr. to take the lead from him. And Greg Biffle, not clear yet off of turn 4. Dale Jr. still trying to get to the outside, and now Biffle's clear in the middle of turns 1 and 2 as he slides up. And a hold clear down the backstretch into turn 3. Interesting fact down there, Mark. I did not know that, I'll tell you that much. No clue Rockingham ever had the final race in a NASCAR season. It really is a shame this track is no longer on the schedule. Though I will say, with them running at Nashville Super Speedway is almost identical to what Rockingham is. And now with having Nashville back on the schedule and in the Cup Series, I feel like the initiative to try and bring Rockingham back and or to the Cup Series, it's almost like why when we have this same identical racetrack essentially in Nashville. Less when or if they get the Nashville Fairgrounds up and running for the Cup Series. Potentially. And maybe they just do away with Nashville Super Speedway and then they run at Rockingham. Guess that could be an option that's up on the table. Kevin Harvick has not led yet in this race. He's looking for second place on Dale Jr. through turns 1 and 2, and he'll clear him off the exit of turn 2. Harvick has been so close to winning this year. We mentioned Dale Jr. has been close in the last couple of races, but he hasn't been nearly as close to, say, Kevin Harvick in almost a handful of different races this season, a couple of which Greg Biffle was able to steal the win late from Harvick, like at the Talladega Road Course on the second-to-last restart in the final 10 laps. He got into the lead after Harvick had led the most throughout the course of the day. And then Harvick ended up DNFing in that race as well. Big block on the back straightaway for Biffle. Halfway on fuel at lap 150. So again, Biffle pitted at lap 98, but we had a caution in the middle of this fuel and tire stint. And Dale Jr. working his way past Harvick. Next race on the custom schedule season for the Nextel Cup Series on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 is back on the high banks at Daytona once again, as it will be in the Pepsi 400 tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dale Jr. blew the corner entry to turn 1 and ended up in the wall. Kevin Harvick was able to get to second, and again puts the challenge on Biffle for the lead. Oh, Harvick's got to run, but Biffle slams the door shut on him. The start-finish line. Harvick got off turn 4 really well. Newman passed Biffle on the outside earlier in the race. Harvick was trying to do it right there, but he wasn't able to quite do so. But Harvick looks like he might have the fastest car on the track right now. Try to set up that middle to upper groove once again. Got to give Harvick a run down the backstretch. Full head of steam into turn 3. But he can't beat the 16 down to the bottom. Kind of the same thing Biffle was doing when Scott Riggs was leading earlier. He's just trying to back the corner entry up a little bit more, get the run off corner exit. Hopefully one of these times he can get around him. It took Biffle a long time to get around Riggs, but he was able to do it eventually with that kind of a move. So you wonder if Harvick could do the same after a little while here. Especially if these tires continue to wear. Biffle going a bit wide in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Harvick so close to that left rear corner panel. Biffle stays in front of him again. Harvick going to go a bit wide that time, and Dale Jr. might move up to second. And Jr. is up to P2. And how about Dale Jarrett now up to second place, getting around both Harvick off of turn 4 and now Jr. off of turn 2. Power move by Dale Jarrett in the 88. Potentially going to try to lead his first laps of the day. He's got a good run off the exit of turn 4. He's hounding the back of the 16. Jarrett almost into the wall off the exit of turn 2. He's pushing hard. A lot of changing of position going on behind Greg Biffle, but nobody's actually able to get around the bit for the lead currently. Greg Biffle needs to lead 84 laps today to hit the 1,500 laps led mark on the season, and we're not even halfway home. He is on pace for 3,000 laps led this season. I'm not sure what the NASCAR record is for the most laps led in a year. Kyle Larson broke the record for the most laps led in a modern era NASCAR season, or in a 36-race NASCAR season, but I wonder what the record is all time. Something we'll have to look up one of these days, if Biffle might have a shot if he keeps this pace up that he started with at the beginning of the year. The fact of the matter is, though, he's leading all these laps, and he's finished in the top 10 all but 3 races. In fact, he's finished in the top 5 all but 3 races. But somehow, he still only has an 81-point lead over Junior, and that's because Dale Jr. has also finished in the top 5 in all but 3 races. Just like Greg Biffle. Again, Biffle only has the points lead because he has 8 wins this year. Dale Jr. doesn't have any. Biffle's obviously leading a lot of laps, so that's scoring him some bonus points as well in races where maybe Dale Jr. isn't getting bonus points. Or only getting 5 when Biffle's getting 10. All that adds up over the course of the 14 races we've completed coming into the night so far. Biffle kind of guarding the bottom right now. Harvick's going to try the outside lane into turns 1 and 2. Not going to be able to do it. And trying the outside is a big mistake for Harvick because he put it in the wall off the exit of turn 2. Jarrett again back to 2nd. Matt Kenseth's in 4th, riding behind Dale Jr. Jeff Gordon, who we haven't seen up at the front of the field yet, is riding in the 6th place position, also behind Kenseth. So again, to round out this weekend's action on the channel, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be our Pepsi 400 at Daytona on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Following that, on Saturday night on the channel, I believe at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Might be 7, but I believe it is 7:30. What we have scheduled will be our NASCAR 21 Ignition final season race at COTA. And then on Sunday afternoon, we'll be live streaming, or I will be live streaming the commentary for the real race at COTA at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that afternoon, with our pre-race beginning at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will also be live streamed on the channel, so you won't want to miss that as well. The realistic commentary, or I should say the live commentary live streams for the real race this year have really popped off. The 3 that we have done, if you count the Busch Clash. We have had a couple hundred people watching each and every one of those. We set a stream record during the Las Vegas race, commentating that earlier this season, when we had upwards of 300, almost 400 people watching at one point in time during that stream. Contact down the backstretch. Dale Jarrett, Greg Biffle side by side for the lead. And Jarrett has it. And for the first time today, it'll be Dale Jarrett leading at the Rock. Three wide. Biffle underneath the lap cars at 145. Off the exit of turn 2. Still 3 wide. Biffle trying to hold his line. Has to flatline it down into turn 3 to make sure he's going to clear the lappers as he goes up the hill. He will keep it off the wall, but Dale Jarrett, he overdrove the corner even worse than Biffle. He scrapes the wall, and Biffle closes on the 88. I saw somebody dive onto pit road that last lap as well. I wonder if that's going to start green flag pit stops for the second time today. Biffle again closes on Dale Jarrett. Can't get around him. There are multiple cars on pit road now, so green flag pit stops are starting for the second time this afternoon. Well, it's still daylight outside, at least on my end. It's not afternoon, it's more in the evening hours. It'll be dark within an hour here. 3 wide. Off the exit of turn 4, Jarrett put in the middle. Biffle leads that lap at the line as he uses Scott Wimmer as a pick to try and get around the 88. But Jarrett holds on strong. Despite the fact Biffle led that lap at the line, Biffle could not clear him. Biffle going wide. Lost a little bit of ground. In turns 3 and 4 as Jarrett holds on. Ryan Newman coming out of the pit lane. Biffle to the inside, off of turn 4 on Jarrett. Was looking for it at least, but couldn't get there. Biffle gonna try the outside through turns 1 and 2. Jarrett going all the way up the racetrack. Jarrett's in the wall off of turn 2. Biffle forced him into a mistake. He'll get underneath the 88 into turn 3. Biffle leads off of turn 4. He's clear. Ryan Blaney is better than Logano. Welcome to the stream. I got a TVMA rating down in the chat. I think Jarrett was still rounding the bottom as well as he did off of turn 4 that time, but he almost got back to the inside of Biffle. And now Jarrett is in the wall in turns 1 and 2. That looked like he blew a right front the way that car just went up the track going into the corner. Ryan Newman going to get in between the 2 leaders again. Got a quarter tank of gas left for the Biff. If he goes 98 laps into this run like he did on the last run, he'll be pitting at about lap 196. But considering that we had a few caution laps earlier in the race, and during this run as well, he's going to really try to stay out even longer than that if he can help it. Even if it's by 1 lap, that's going to help him that much more on being able to make it on 3 stops total in this race today. He would have 2 more to go from now to the end. By the way, Dale Jarrett pit that last lap. Greg Biffle has about a 3.5 second lead now. Full slide up in front of Riggs, putting him another lap down. Scott has already made a pit stop. Dale Jr. wasn't quite as close as what he was when he cycled off of the pit lane into the lead after the first set of green flag stops, so I'm interested to see if he will be able to do the same here. Jarrett was a lot closer, and I wonder if that's the driver Biffle could be racing now. More of the leaders on their way into the pits. Lap 180 at the line. One big thing to keep an eye out on the point standings as well with Dale Jr. and Greg Biffle is how many more races can they finish this year, because it's a 2-horse race right now for the championship after the first 14 completed races. You got drivers inside the top 5 like Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart sitting 3rd and 4th, former champions trying to make their way up, but they're over 300 points back of leader Greg Biffle. Despite the fact that they both have wins on the year, Dale Jr. does not. Their consistency is just nowhere near where the 16 and the 8 are, and that's even with Biffle DNFing in 2 of the 3 races he's failed to finish in the top 10 this season. Though those 3 races have come within the last 6 or 7 races, so maybe the inconsistencies are starting to bite. The 16 middle of the year versus at the very, very beginning of the season, it was a super hot start for the Biff. This Roush Fenway racing team. No other Roush car has a win yet this season as well. Biffle's the only one to hit victory lane. Again, ideally, Biffle going to try to go to lap 197. Be 99 laps into this run. Assuming he can make it that far. As far as green flag laps go, that would actually be about 2 laps shorter than the opening run he made it. So that caution we had definitely helps Biffle's scenario out a little bit. Everybody else has pitted so early in the run, they're looking as if they're going to have to pit 4 times versus Biffle's 3. And unless we get another caution and maybe a weird spot, it's going to be tough to beat the 16 on this strategy. Yes, he's losing the lead every time staying out. Or at least the first time. I would imagine he's going to lose the lead again this time around. But if he can make it on 1 last pit stop, it's obviously going to win him the race, assuming he can make it. Again, unless we get a caution within that final stretch of stops. Ryan Newman looking to the outside in turns 1 and 2. He got around Biffle earlier on the outside. He's got fresher tires than the Biff right now, and I think he might be able to do it again. No, not quite. Biffle stays in front of him as he's clear high off of turn 2. Newman overdrives turn 3 now. Michael Waltrip is underneath him, likely forward position. Waltrip had an accident last night in the middle of green flag pit stops at about the midway point at Infineon, causing him to finish last with the DNF. He was one of only 2 drivers that failed to finish the race. He's still sitting top 10 in points even with that DNF. He dropped from 7th to 9th in the standings. Still a strong start to the year for Mikey. Never finished top 10 in the points in his NASCAR Cup Series career. He's trying to do that on this NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2004 custom schedule season. Or sorry, 2005 custom schedule season, which takes place in the actual 2004 season. Which, if I remember correctly, was Waltrip's best career season statistically. It's 2004, so coincidental. Putting up those kinds of numbers again this year. He has a win already on the season. He was on a road course, nonetheless, at the Devil's Canyon. .200 laps to go, this time by .16 of a tank of gas left for Biffle. So he's riding on fumes right now, just trying to make it to at least lap 197. Mr. Clean Crew had a clean first stop of the race. We'll see if they can do the same thing on pit stop number 2 here in a couple of laps. If it will stay out this time by, it'll pit the following time by at lap 197. Pretty good run on Biffle from behind by Michael Waltrip. Has to block the bottom, though, into turns 1 and 2, trying to make sure he's going to have that bottom lane available to him for when he pulls into the pit lane. Waltrip and Newman will quickly get by on the outside. So down into turns 3 and 4, here comes Greg Biffle into the pit lane for 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments. Under pit stop number 2 today, just like the first stop for Biffle earlier. Pausing it for one quick second, just making sure I have the trivia question for tonight as we're approaching the halfway mark. Right at about halfway right now. Alright, I'm pretty sure I have the trivia question. Alrighty. Leave that for you guys to answer here in a little bit. It was a clean pit stop for the 16 team. Work his way back out onto the racetrack. And there goes Dale Jr. by on the outside. Barely going to be able to clear into the lead. So Dale Jr.'s picker's been on it because he wasn't even in second that time. But he cycles back to the lead once again at the Rock. So another lap led for Dale. We'll be at lap 200 this time by. That was a big moment. Biffle just completely whiffed on turns 1 and 2, overdriving the car down onto the apron with all 4. Obviously, he could not stick the corner. And Dale Jr. has now got about a 1.3 second lead in the aftermath. Oscar Ramirez Herrera, welcome to the stream. 16 likes on the stream now. Again, our goal is 25 tonight. A little more than usual. I think we can do it. And so far, you guys have done a great job hitting that like button. We're just past the halfway mark in this one. We're past halfway on getting to our goal. We're only 10 away, so make sure you hit that like button. Again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you are new on the channel. On the hopes of one day potentially finding me in the booth for NASCAR races down the road. Every subscriber goes a long way in that journey. Biffle trying to run down Dale Jr. once again. I think Jr. has led the most laps in this point now. Biffle can't be too far behind him with being able to stay out a little bit longer on fuel during both green flag runs so far. We have had one caution today, and it was just after the green flag pit stops had cycled through the first time around. Casey Mears had hit the wall hard and then backed it down right in front of Ray Parker in the 141, who hit him in the right side door, maybe towards that right front tire. Never saw a debris caution following that hard crash. Speaking of Ray Parker, he just went a lap down at the hands of Dale Jr. that last time through 3 and 4. And he's going to try to cross Jr. back over, and he does. He's on the inside of the 8. So Parker is battling Jr. to try and stay on the lead lap with his damaged race car, and that's allowing Biffle to close the gap immensely as he's only a half a second off the lead. Junior still stuck on the outside into turns 3 and 4. Parker clears Junior off of turn 4, and here comes Greg Biffle to the inside of Junior now, trying to trap him behind Parker. Trying to use Ray as a pick, but Junior gets the run off the high side. Biffle overdrives turn 3. That's the second time he's done that since coming out of the pit lane, and that might allow Junior to hold on to the lead. Nope, Junior's still stuck behind Parker. Thought for sure he had enough of a run on the front stretch to get underneath him. And again, Biffle using Parker as a pit car. Parker going down low to block the 16 on the exit of the corner. Biffle leads that lap at the start-finish line. Now Parker's on the bottom lane, parking it in front of the 16 as he tries to stay on the lead of the lap. Biffle's clear off of turn 2 for the lead, though. Parker's getting in Biffle's way now. Wasn't Dale Jr.'s way, now he's in Biffle's way. Biffle may have to use the bumper here before long. I hope he doesn't get stacked up too much doing so, that it still doesn't give the 8 enough room to get underneath him, and there he goes. Drove it in pretty deep into turn 3, put the bumper to Parker to put him a lap down. Ray Parker was not yielding for the lead lap cars. Matt Kenseth's driven his way up to 3rd place. Trivia question tonight on the stream is going to take place in the final ever Rockingham race in 2004, as of course we are running that race here today on the channel in the game that took place that year. Our trivia question is, in 2004 Rockingham's final races, Dale Jr. is going to get back around Biffle because Biffle blew turns 1 and 2. Anyway, our trivia question of the night is, in that final Rockingham race in 2004, Matt Kenseth that led the most laps. He led 250 plus laps in that race. Who led the second most amount of laps in that race? That is the trivia question for tonight. There are only a few drivers that actually led at least one lap in that one. But who is the driver that led the second most amount of laps in the final race at Rockingham in the NASCAR Cup Series? Oh man, Junior hit the wall hard off of turn 2. Biffle holds on to the lead. He definitely squeezed him, but Junior didn't want to get out of the gas, and I think that was a bad option for him. That's going to give Biffle about a 1-second race lead. Our trivia question also is sponsored by The Rock. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking as he lays the smackdown of those jabronis? Yeah, Mark DeMar's got it. First guess, Jamie McMurray. That did not take long. I wondered if you were going to try to guess the top finishers in that classic race. And Jamie McMurray finished 3rd that day. He led the second most amount of laps in that race. He led 76 laps. So Jamie McMurray is the answer to tonight's trivia question. Casey Kane, who had finished 2nd, didn't lead a single lap in that race. Finished 2nd in a photo finish to Kenseth. But Jamie McMurray finished 3rd right behind those two. Top 3 were all within a second at the end. Again, tonight's trivia question was presented by The Rock as we're at Rockingham. Might be the final time we make a Dwayne The Rock Johnson pun today. I heard at over the age of 50, even filming all those movies, that he is still whipping everybody's candy asses. He can whip my candy ass, that's for sure. Dude's jacked. He's in better shape now than what he was back when he was wrestling. He probably doesn't have like the same cardio, I'm assuming, as what he did back in his wrestling days. Yeah, we're just going to keep having random fake sponsors on the channel, by the way, for a trivia question until we can get a real sponsor on the channel. I figured that'd be something fun. You guys have probably noticed with the quote-unquote sponsors for the trivia question of the night. Young Jr., after getting into the wall a few laps ago and put himself about a second off the race lead, he's driven it back to within about 2 to 3 car lengths of Greg Biffle now into turn 3 this lap. Last car in the lead lap is Brian Vickers in the 25. He is hoping desperately for a caution sometime soon. About 100 laps into the green flag run right now. About the same amount of time that we had green flag laps ran before our first caution had waved a while back. And again, still the only yellow to wave so far in this race today. Greg Biffle's still going to have to pit one more time. The rest of the field may have to pit twice. Well, they will have to pit twice, actually, considering nobody has gone anywhere close to the amount of laps Greg Biffle has on fuel. And the fact that Biffle has the lead on top of his pit strategy right now is just making it even tougher to beat the 16 here tonight. Comment down in the chat below how many more cautions you think we're gonna. Well, how many cautions total do you think we're gonna get in tonight's race? Been asking that a lot. Recent races on the channel. I haven't asked it yet. We did have one already. Curious to see if you guys think we're gonna get any more, or if we do, how many? Maybe about when you think they'll fall in this race. All strategy goes out the window, though, if we get a caution in the final 90 laps or so of this race. Because everybody's just going to end up pitting, and even those other drivers who haven't quite pushed it that far on fuel today are probably going to be able to make it from then to the end. Caleb Brinkley, welcome to the stream. Billy Kramer says 2 cautions total in today's race, so he thinks that there will be one more. He's got a pretty big run on Brian Vickers. Into turn 3, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side, 25 and 8. And Biffle's clear in the middle of turns 1 and 2. So Vickers will go a lap down. Just a nut, welcome to the stream. So 69 cautions. Ha ha. And children. For real 3 to 4. I thought he was going to say for real 6 or 9. That's how I thought he was going to back up his first statement. Dale Jr. missed turn 3. He didn't get up into the wall that time, but he did go a bit wide, and Jr. is about 4 or 5 car lengths behind Biffle into turn 1 again. Three or 4 cautions, good prediction. We had 4 last night at Infineon. We just haven't been getting as many at this point in the season compared to what we did in the probably first 8 or 9 races. Really the first 10 races up until that New York City street course. And we were consistently on, for the most part, having probably 3 to 6 cautions a race. And we had 3 races where we broke out in just a ton of cautions. We haven't had a race like that in a little while. Kevin Harvick trying to close in 3rd place again on the top 2. Biffle and Jr. Mark DeMars thinks that we're just going to stick with that 1 yellow we've had today. Yeah, the strategy game, if it did stay green to the end, that's going to be the best bet for Greg Biffle. Because that, honestly, with his strategy, should win, considering that everybody else is probably going to have to make 4 stops today, where Biffle is still stretching on being able to make it on 3 stops. The only time he would like to see a yellow is before he makes his final stop, but after everybody else makes their 3rd stop of the day. A little contact between Dale Jr. and Greg Biffle. Biffle really pinched Jr. off into turn 3 that time. Gave him no room even to try and pass him on the outside, because Biffle has been passed on the outside before. Now he throws a big block on Dale Jr., who makes a save, but he's going to lose a spot out of it, if not more. And Kevin Harvick is up to P2. That was a dirty block by Greg Biffle. That was twice in about a span of a half a lap that he did that on Dale Jr. after Jr. had a run. That's how hard the top 2 of points have been racing with each other here in recent races. Saw them go hard for the win last night at Sonoma, but it was Tony Stewart getting the win after it all. And now here today in the second half of our Subway 400 at Rockingham, same thing is going on. Maybe even a little bit more physical tonight. Neither Greg Biffle or Dale Jr. ever won a championship in their Cup Series career, so not only be their first as of this 2004 season, but it could be their first ever. And NASCAR's definitely laying down the law with these new, with the new penalty system. I think Jeff Gordon takes the lead away from Harvick. Oh, we got a car in the wall, it looks like, in turns 1 and 2, but we continue to stay green. That's the same spot that we saw that first caution when Casey Mears had slammed into the wall hard, and then collecting the 141 car of Ray Parker as well. But this time we stay green. Again, about the same amount of laps into this run so far. Biffle still sits on about a 6/10 of a second lead over Jeff Gordon. Gordon not closing in quite like what Dale Jr. was earlier. I don't think he's got quite as fast of a car. Kevin Harvick, I think, just dropped to the apron. And we might have some problems going on for the 29 of Harvick, who is, like we mentioned earlier on and in most recent races as well, he has been close to winning so many times this season, has not been able to get the job done. On one occasion, even DNF'd in a race he led late in the final 10, getting involved in an accident at the Talladega road course. And something happened where he dropped down to the apron in the tri-oval there. I don't think he... Yeah, there's a car slow on the back straightaway, and I think it's Kevin Harvick. And it is. Wow. The woes continue for that 29 car this season. Another DNF for Kevin Harvick in a race he had a shot to win. Second time that has happened to him already in now the first 15 races. Hurting him in the point standings immensely if he's going to want a shot to win the championship at season end. So drama for Kevin Harvick. Dale Jarrett in the meantime just took over second place from Jeff Gordon, about 9/10 of a second off the lead. And Greg Biffle's about to get into some pretty serious and heavy lap traffic over the next few laps. Gonna hope that he can get around him quickly. Wiggled a little bit down into turn 1. Maybe push a little bit too hard. Definitely wants to get around these lap cars as quick as he can. Slides it into turn 3 as well. Underneath the 45 of Petty. Hasn't cleared him yet. Slide on corner entry probably prevented Biffle from clearing Petty. Harvick had some horrendous luck indeed in 2021. He never really had great shots to win, but this season got passed on the last lap at Darlington. Biffle intimidated him in turns 1 and 2 on the final lap when Biffle was like a half a second off the lead and probably wasn't going to catch him. And then just 2 races after that race at the Talladega road course, Kevin Harvick was leading with less than 10 to go, lost the lead on the restart to Biffle, and then trying to get back to him, he wrecked and DNF'd. Finished second to Biffle in one other race since then, and today he was running in second just moments ago before dropping an engine. And we saw Jimmy Johnson running in second in the Brickyard 400 before losing an engine in that race as well. So we have seen some front runners drop engines in recent races, and they've been for Chevrolet both times too, so that's a little concerning. Scott Wimmer just got wall off of turn 2, losing another lap to Greg Biffle. The fastest lap of the race today for Biffle is a 23.998. I think that's the only lap he has ran in the 23-second lap barrier. Last lap was about a 24.291, so about 0.3 of a second roughly off his fastest lap of the race at this point in the fuel and tire stint, as he pitted at lap 197. He went 98 laps on the first run on fuel, 96 on the second as far as green flag laps go. That's not counting any caution laps, which landed in the middle of the last run. If you would have counted those, it would have been 98 and 99 laps. Biffle would have went respectively on fuel. And I don't think it's going to be too much longer before we start to see our third set of green flag stops for everybody else in the field, excluding Biffle, for about another 50 laps for him. Maybe a little less than that. Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett battling back and forth for second place right now. Biffle still working on the 103 car to try and put him a lap down. Finally clears him again, turns 3 and 4. So right as I mentioned, it does look like Terry Labonte will pit off of turn 4, and he'll be the first comer onto pit road as he was about to go a lap down. So that's in the hopes of him hopefully cycling back on the lead lap eventually, once Biffle ends up making his third stop a little ways from now. Cars side by side right in front of Biffle that time. Nemechek crossing over the car in front of him, which would have been the 145. Biffle followed Nemechek to get around him, and now he gets to the inside of Nemechek in the tri-oval. I think Jimmy Johnson just took over second place, unless he already pitted and cycled out of the pits ahead of those guys, but I didn't recognize him coming off the apron, getting up to speed anytime recently. Dale Jarrett, though, with the crossover on Johnson to take second place back over again. Jeff Gordon from fourth just hit pit road that last time by. Dale Jr. has been probably the one to beat on pit road so far during the 2 green flag stops we've had up to this point in the race. Cycled to the lead both times. First time he was in second, right behind Greg Biffle, and then the second time, or right behind, not Biffle at the time, he was actually behind Ryan Newman, who was leading when Dale Jr. ended up pitting. Last time he wasn't even in the top 4. I think he was in 5th, and he still cycled to the lead. He wasn't in the top 4 again this time, so we'll see if again he can make his way through and have another blistering fast pit stop. Just remember, going into that Pepsi 400 tomorrow night for Greg Biffle's sake, is that I myself have not won at Daytona in the Cup Series on a NASCAR EA Sports video game. Only in the Busch Series once I have been able to actually win. So my luck at Daytona has not been great as far as the points races go. I did win a dual race once at Daytona. That's the only exhibition race I've even won. I didn't win either shootouts. Won one dual race, which was 50 laps. And points racing at Daytona, not the greatest for myself. So an 81-point lead, definitely not comfortable into that 16th race of the year. We still got 2 trips to Daytona total and 2 more at Talladega yet. A few more fantasy road courses. So a lot of the schedule for Greg Biffle to still try to get through cleanly. He has led in the points every single race this season. He won the season opener at the Dodge Raceway, and he still continues to lead the point standings to this day by 81 over Dale Jr. Definitely an amazing season so far. Overdrives 1 and 2. And almost a 10-second lead right now. Lap car coming out of the pits. That'd be Rusty Wallace. Biffle gets around Wallace, clears him down to the bottom. Had a big run off of turn 2 to also get around Bobby Labonte, who was on the outside. So now the 2 and the 18 are side by side right behind the Biff. Hard to keep the 2 car behind him, though, considering that he is on fresher tires. Not sure if Labonte's pit or not. If he's just a lap down on speed, or if he's on fresher tires and is a couple laps down. Have a show tomorrow night at your local stadium in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Some more of the leaders pit this time. Big band tomorrow, include your girlfriend Courtney. That's pretty cool. Casey Kane coming out of the pits. We go 2 down now. Biffle clears him into turn 3. Similarly to when Rusty Walsh came out of the pit lane and Biffle got around him. Kane to the outside, though, as he gets up to speed into turns 1 and 2 as he's going to try to get around the Biff. Not going to happen, though. And Kane's in the wall pretty hard off of turn 2. Trying to get back around Biffle. So Greg Biffle has a 1-lap lead on the field. He is the only driver that has not made his 3rd stop of the day yet. He'll continue to log in laps, so hopefully he can make it on just that one more stop. If we were to see a second caution, now would be the time before Biffle pits again. He's going to have to get it down to at least 98 laps to go to be in range to make it on fuel to the end. So that is where Biffle has to get to, which would be lap 395 is as far as he would have to go. What kind of music you guys play in your guys' band? Biffle's just locked in the most laps led. 10 bonus point race once again for the Biff. It's been a few races since he's been able to lead the most laps. Last time he did so, he won, and that was 3 races ago. Michael says next stop is lap 295. That would be the range to be able to hopefully make it on fuel. He only went 96 green flag laps on the last run, though. That's the concerning part for Greg Biffle. Knowing he ran out of fuel with a half a lap to go at Sonoma last night, it's the last thing he wants to have happen to him here. Now, the good thing is that this is a 1-mile track versus Sonoma, likely a 2-mile road course, so that extra mile could make up the difference in him being able to actually make it versus a track like Sonoma. Unless it was a long way to go half a lap, just coasting it without any fuel, versus here, he would have a much easier time getting there. Probably wouldn't lose as many spots. But he would also be in this same circumstance where he'd have about a 1-lap lead on the field and trying to do that. Still sitting at 17 likes on the stream so far. 15 people currently watching. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're close to our final pit stop of the race tonight in the Subway 400 at The Rock, North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. And the Subway car leads the Subway 400. He's got a 1-lap lead because he has not made his 3rd stop of the day yet. Everybody else has already made their 3rd green flag stop under this current green flag run. Biffle staying out as long as possible for 2 reasons. Most importantly, so he can try to make it on just 3 stops versus the rest of the field on 4 to the end of the race. And then also, of course, if we did get a caution, it would trap the field a lap down, except for 1 car who would get the free pass in 2nd. But they would have to restart at the tail end of the longest line, which would obviously be the lap down car line, which would be the inside line on the restart. So it would put Biffle in a little bit better spot. Either way, Biffle gets around Scott Wimmer through turns 1 and 2. $111 laps to go currently. Again, Biffle's likely going to be pitting right around lap 295. Should be right at the edge of that window to be able to make it on fuel to the end. We had a fuel mileage race last night at Infineon, which was really the first one in a long time on the channel, and that ended up actually finishing as a fuel mileage race. We get into those circumstances, then we end up getting a late caution anyway that kind of foils it and everybody comes into pit road. But last night that did not happen at Infineon. Went caution free over the final second half of the race, and then so far tonight we've still sat at the one caution we had back at about lap 119 over a 160 lap green flag run is what we are currently on right now. Mikey, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I want to get into a golf league on Thursday nights this year if possible. Means I have off of work, and I should be able to get out there and get back to still stream at like 7 o'clock-ish most nights. So I think that would work out for me pretty well. Guess I could do Mondays also. The only problem is with Mondays is the days I'm out traveling. Before I get back, I'd have to make sure I'm back super early, so I'd have to leave my destination pretty early. Grease fire last night at KFC. Oh, jeez. Not the chicken. Was the... Hopefully everybody was alright before I make too many jokes. Hopefully everybody was alright in the fire. And everybody was evacuated safely. They put the flames in flaming hot. They weren't lying about that Nashville hot chicken. Packs on the heat. Lap 291 at the line. Biffle pretty low on fuel. Trying to get to lap 295. Not the chicken. He's joking around too. Yes, the people were okay, but was the chicken okay? I can just imagine the person in line that was trying to order his chicken before that fire started is just like, I'm telling you, I want well done. Well, I'm telling you, sir, the last time we had well done chicken, this place caught on fire. Exhibit A. Chicken is extra crispy, yes. Greg Biffle will be pitting this time by. We're at lap 295. We'll have 98 laps to go when he cycles off of pit road. This is potentially the last stop of the day if it stays caution-free. 4 tires and fuel will be the call. No adjustments on the 16 car this time down. Third and, again, potentially final stop. No, the chicken is not okay. Oh, no. Not the chicken. Ugh. Still trying to get used to this new seat. It's not quite as comfy as my computer chair. It's like really stiff when you're in it for a while. It's comfy to sit down in for a short term, but these longer races on the Cup Series, I haven't had any Busch races since I got this chair, so got a little bit before that yet. I have to readjust myself every time I pit. Keeps good posture for me, though, I will say that. So it looks like Greg Biffle's going to cycle way back in the 4th place position. Right in front of Dale Jarrett behind his teammate Matt Kenseth. Jeff Gordon's up to 2nd, and Dale Jr. is back in the lead once again at Rockingham. Good news is for Greg Biffle is that he has already clinched the most laps led. More good news is that he could potentially make it on fuel. And even more good news to add on to that is that Dale Earnhardt Jr. already has received 5 bonus points for leading laps today. He can't obviously lead the most because Biffle has clinched the most. And he's not getting any bonus points he would have not already had otherwise by leading right now. Yes, sir, you're supposed to sacrifice your shop for a well-done chicken. If it's not well done, it ain't done right. I just think of Squidward from that episode of SpongeBob, We Sell Food Here, sir. I can't think of that one guy, that one, like, big fish's name. That was, going on and on about his order. We sell food here, sir. Came in a little slow, keeping the minimum speed. Well, the last thing I wanted was a speeding penalty right there. 94 laps to go at the Rock for the Subway 400, and the Subway car sitting pretty in 4th place, knowing he can make it potentially again on fuel to the end of the race. Bubble Bass, yes, thank you. Valvoline Warrior, welcome to the stream as well. Yeah, it was Bubble Bass, that's right. Biffle does have about 30 lap fresher tires than everybody for position in front of him as well. Jeff Gordon struggling to get around Ray Parker in the 141 car right now. He's stuck on the outside. Kenseth and Biffle both closing in on him for a potential battle for 2nd. Biffle to the outside in turns 3 and 4 on the 198. It's a really good cut down to the bottom, trying to beat that 198 car down to the inside. Into turns 1 and 2 they go, 3 wide. Matt Kenseth up high. Biffle down low, 198 car in the middle. Oh, contact! Oh, and we have a crash! The 198 is hard into the inside wall. Kenseth got into the wall and ricocheted right into the 198. What a shame. Biffle was just ahead of that. We get our 2nd caution of the race today, right after Biffle has pit. So everybody is likely going to be coming down to top off. Biffle will as well. He's got nothing to lose here. Well, if that wasn't the money stop before, it's the money stop now. Trouble off of turn 2 between Matt Kenseth and the 198. Biffle was barely able to miss it just in front of him. I do like baseball. My Detroit Tigers might actually make it to the playoffs for the first time in a while this year. I'm hoping they can. Expanded playoffs will help too. Mr. Clinker going to work once again. Probably didn't have to change tires, but he wants to still be on equal tires as everybody else. Even if it's a couple laps older, it may hurt for the short run. No mistakes, it looks like, on the 4th, and now this is definitely going to be the final stop. Biffle's well going to be good on field to the end, and he is going to lose a lot of spots on pit road. It looks like at least 2 spots were lost there. So here we go. Fuel is not an issue anymore. Greg Biffle restarted 5th, losing 2 spots on pit road. Green flag is back in the air at Rockingham, following our 2nd caution of the race. Biffle's going to get down to the bottom pretty quickly on the restart in front of Ray Parker in the 141. Johnny Sauter is well down on the bottom lane. Getting up to speed down the backstretch. Biffle to the inside of Elliott Sadler. And now his teammate Kurt Busch. Vickers gets into the wall off of turn 4 up high. Still 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. That did not work last time. And it is 3 Roush Fenway cars who are 3 wide right now. Martin gets into the wall. Kurt Busch in the middle lane still holds on to 3rd. Kenseth able to get back down to the bottom. Jeff Gordon leads. Couple cars just pit that last time by. Biffle all the way down to the apron. Trying to get around the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. He's struggling to pass him right now. Want the Phillies to make the playoffs. They made some moves this offseason. They're looking good too. Vickers just... Sorry, Biffle rather. And right into the left rear of Joe Nemechek. Sadler's still sitting in 5th, looking for another top 5 finish. Now into Jeff Green. Busch gonna go a little bit wide. So 3 Roush cars running 2nd through 4th behind the lone Hendrick in the lead right now, Jeff Gordon. Gordon trying to win his 3rd race of the season. Kenseth, Kurt Busch looking for the 1st. Biffle looking for his 9th. Biffle's definitely better in turns 3 and 4 than Busch, but 1 and 2, Busch seems to beat the 16. Still have 80 laps to go in this one. Plenty of time yet. Wonder if everybody else could still make it. We know Biffle's plenty good on fuel from now to the finish with that caution. But again, I am not sure about everyone else. I have the same diecast, same year and everything sitting behind me. Actually, it might be in a different... I don't want to look right now. Might not be in the same case. I just got it when I was in Daytona at the start of the season. Irwin Tools Kurt Busch paint scheme. Championship winning car. Biffle has made the pass on Kurt Busch for 3rd place that last lap. Yeah, it is. It's in the bottom right corner on that case behind me. I guess it'd be your guys'... No, yeah, it'd be your guys' right, too. My left, your guys' right. You guys probably can't see it too well with how small that camera is down there. I just realized I haven't put in the community tab the diecast I got this last weekend. I'll make sure I do that tonight before I go to bed. Show you guys the diecast that I got when I was in Atlanta last weekend. Got 4 more. As you can see, the second case is also up now. Still got a ways to fill that one up yet. Only got 8 cars in there right now. I still got 16 empty spots. And also, go blue tonight. Michigan Wolverines playing their Sweet 16 game against Villanova. Winning both of their first 2 games in the March Madness tournament last weekend. For the men's. I don't know how the women's team's doing. I think the women's team was a lot better than the men's team this year, but I don't really watch women's basketball too much, so I have no clue if they're still going strong or not, but definitely got to catch the end of that game once this stream comes to an end tonight. We have just over 70 laps to go. Biffle's still sitting about 1.1 seconds behind race leader Jeff Gordon. He's not worried about it. He knows he's got a fast car. These guys are coming up on a slower lap car here very shortly as well. Could potentially get in the way. I don't think Matt Kenseth has led a lap all day long. But he rides in second place right now as we speak. And he did win the final race at Rockingham in real life, so it'd be kind of coincidental if he could do the same thing here today for his first win of the season. That would have been his first win of the 2004 season as well. Will definitely close that last lap. He's about a 10th quicker than Gordon, but Kenseth looked even quicker than the 24 and the 16 that last lap. Caution for the 3rd time today. Lap 322, not too far after the restart this time. That was the shortest green flag run we've had. Just over 20 laps. Rusty Wallace and then the 198 car get together in turn 1. Sending Wallace into the outside wall head on. Oh man, that was a hard lick. It seemed like he was picking up speed when he made contact with that non-safer barrier on the outside. So another yellow. Greg Biffle will stay out of the pits, and I would assume everybody else will also. And we'll rack them and stack them for another restart here at the Rock. Green flag back in the air. See if Biffle could get down to the bottom as quickly as he did the last time. He's trying. Brendan Gaughan is still there. Lap car just pulled up right in front of race leader Jeff Gordon. Biffle's still trying to get down to the bottom, but he can't get underneath the 77 of Gaughan. Kenseth's going to go a bit wide as well. Biffle still can't get to the bottom, and here comes Kurt Busch in the 97 car. Biffle still can't get there. Busch will take over 4th. Jimmy Johnson looking for a spot. Biffle still stuck up high, as well as Kenseth. Kurt Busch going for 2nd on Kenseth as Gordon still 2nd in line up at the front of the field. Oh, this is not going to end well. 3 wide. Contact with Matt Kenseth. And Johnson moves up 2 spots to 3rd. Kenseth still stuck up high, though. Biffle finally gets back down to the bottom lane. He'll clear Kenseth for 3rd. I think Jimmy Johnson's a lap down. So Johnson is a lap down. He'll get by the 97 of Kurt Busch. Biffle to the inside of Busch for 2nd. They're going to be 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. Johnson, Busch, up high, contact, into the wall, goes Jimmy, and around he goes. Another yellow. Jimmy Johnson spinning down the back straightaway. After getting pinched into the wall 3 wide, as he turned, Kurt Busch head on into the wall, and Johnson comes back across the racetrack and into the inside retaining wall with the left rear of his race car. That was the second time we've seen an accident like that off of turn 2 today, and both times Biffle's barely in front of the action. And the carnage, I should say. Gordon will have to survive another restart from the lead. Joe Nemechek will get the free pass in the 0-1. 4 cautions now. Cautions breeding cautions late at Rockingham. Green flag back in the air once again. A lot of Hendrick cars up at the front that are a lap down at least, except for Gordon. Vickers slides up right in front of Biffle. Johnson clears Gordon, but Gordon's going to get to the inside of the 48, so the Hendrick teammates working together right now. Kurt Busch to the inside of Biffle again on the restart. Biffle will get out of the gas and hop in line behind the 97. Gordon clears Johnson into turn 1 and looking to set sail, and Kurt Busch is trying to close in on him. Kurt Busch is got by Vickers and Johnson. He's working on Brendan Gaughan in the 77 now. Greg Biffle will get by Jimmy Johnson, Brendan Gaughan as well. Gaughan in the wall off turn 2. Johnson will pass the 77 car for the free pass position. And the first car 1 lap down. Biffle closes a ton in turns 3 and 4. He's on the inside of Busch. Busch on the outside, Biffle on the inside, in the battle for second between the Roush Fenway Fords. Biffle clear off of turn 2, and he's got his eyes set on Gordon. Looks like Johnson just got to the inside of Kurt Busch off of turn 4 as well. I think Gordon got a little bit loose. That last time, Biffle was able to close in. A little intimidation mode. Greg Biffle is right there. Kurt Busch going to cross over Jimmy Johnson for right now as well. 55 laps to go. North Carolina Speedway. Seeing a lot of late yellows here. Pack still mostly bunched together back there. Biffle trying to get underneath the 24, but Gordon stays hooked to the bottom. He did not make a mistake. He's going to make this hard. Into turns 3 and 4. Biffle. Again, very close to that left rear corner panel, but he's not quite there. And Gordon beats him back to the accelerator off of turn 4. A little wider arc into turns 1 and 2 that time for the Biff. But again, Gordon hangs on. Into turn 3. Down low. Biffle outbreaks Gordon. Back to the throttle. They're side by side for the lead off of turn 4. 52 to go at the line. Still nose to nose, side by side into turns 1 and 2. Biffle on the bottom, Gordon on the outside. Biffle clear off of turn 2. And we'll have a new leader once again at the start-finish line. It's the guy who's already clinched the most laps led today. Greg Biffle leads for the 4th different time at the Rock. And although he'll lead at the line, Gordon closes on the outside, trying to make the power move. Oh, what a move this is going to be if he can actually win the race back to the gas. Oh, but he got in the wall, though. He got back in the gas a little too soon. He tried to beat Biffle back to the gas, and he may have, but he couldn't hold it on the outside lane like Ryan Newman did very early on in the race. Biffle leads by a full car like that time at the line. Lost the bottom, though, and here comes Gordon on the inside. Gordon clear off of turn 2, making a clean pass on Biffle. Biffle with a crossover of his own, driving it deep into 3 and 4, and as they battle, Kurt Busch closes in 3rd place behind. Great battle for the lead right now, and again, Gordon holds strong. And again, Biffle sends it into the corner. But again, he can't clear him. Trying to break away and try not to side draft him. Into turns 1 and 2. Gordon pinches the 16, and he is clear. It's crazy how Jeff Gordon's able to hold on. Biffle definitely seems a bit better, though, again, in turns 3 and 4. These guys battle like this, they're going to use their tires up, and Kurt Busch is going to be right there. That's the way it's seeming like right now. Gordon pulls Biffle off of turn 2 again. Into turns 3 and 4. Biffle closes the gap right back. Hooking that white line down on the bottom. Just a little bit lower than Gordon. Gordon couldn't get his car down to the white line until they got more towards the center of turns 1 and 2. And he tried to close the gap, but he couldn't do it in time. Gordon leads at the line, but Biffle's right there. Through turns 1 and 2. Biffle with a slide job off the exit of the corner. Clear. Gordon's in the wall. Both Biffle and Gordon have won 2 of the last 5 races coming into this race today. The only one not named Gordon or Biffle who has a win in those last 5 races was in yesterday's race when Tony Stewart won at Infineon. Stewart led a couple laps early in the race, but he hasn't really been in contention ever since. Haven't really seen him ever since. He may not even be in the race anymore for all we know. I think that's Dale Jr. in third, who has had a fast car today. He's closing the gap on the top 2. Kurt Busch was closing for a little bit, and then he started to lose time once Dale Jr. got around him for third. Biffle for the 3rd consecutive race is looking for his 10th career victory. Again, it's Gordon trying to take it away from him. Off turn 2, Gordon nearly gets into the side of Biffle. I think he backed out of the gas to keep it off the corner panel. He wants to race that 16 car clean. Now he overdrives turns 3 and 4. Goes a bit wide. Dale Jr. has closed that gap. Kenseth, meanwhile, is up to 4th place. Kurt Busch back to 5th. So we have 40 laps to go at North Carolina Speedway. And the final race ever at Rockingham. Kenseth, who won that race in real life, in a photo finish. To Casey Kane, is trying to win this race today. He has not led a lap yet, but he's been as high as 2nd at one point. That 2nd to last restart. But 3 of the 4 cautions after lap 300. We don't even know if this is going to stay green to the end of the race. The rate we're running as well. This is the longest green flag run, though, of the few that we've had since lap 300. Gordon got off turn 2 really, really well, but Biffle throws a block midway down the back straightaway. Into turn 3, it's Gordon looking low again. Biffle trying to pinch the 24. Gordon side draft in the left rear corner panel of the 16. Biffle clear into turn 1 barely. Major blocks, and Gordon overdrives 1 and 2. A mistake of his own allows Dale Jr. to get to the inside for second. Gordon had 2 opportunities to get by Biffle, and Biffle held on strong both times on the outside. Gordon was hanging on that left rear corner panel, but couldn't pull him back enough. Now it's Dale Jr.'s turn. Looking for the lead into turn 3. Now he is going to stay low. He actually clipped the apron getting into the corner, but he didn't push wide. Halfway on fuel, but again, everybody is looking good to the end. As far as we know. Gordon closed quite a bit on Junior that time from turns 1 and 2. Oh, both the 24 and the 8 go up, but it's the 24 who rounds the corner off the exit. Almost kind of diving in the corner off to get to the inside of the 8. Dale Jr. still looking for his first win of the season and trying to close in on that points gap a little bit on Biffle. Gordon, who's third in points, is up to second. Jr. trying to cross over 24 again, but he can't do it. He goes wide, but so does Biffle. Biffle goes wide as well, and here comes Gordon. Gordon's going to lead the lap this time. Biffle's got a side draft the right rear corner panel to 24. Now a crossover into turn 1, down to the bottom. Gordon beats him back to the accelerator. Biffle's going to drive it hard into turn 3. He's not underneath Gordon right now, and he can't get there either. Gordon leads again at Rockingham. Finally powering by Biffle. He tried a couple times during this run to get back by him. He wasn't able to do it. But he kept trying, and eventually he got around him. Now can he drive away? Actually, Biffle just sailed it into 3 and 4. Gordon leads that lap at the line, but they're door-to-door into turns 1 and 2. Biffle clear off turn 2. Blocks Gordon on the back straightaway. All the way down to the white line into turn 3. Gordon goes up the track. He's in the wall in turns 3 and 4, and he'll lose second place as well as the lead this lap. Drove it too hard. 30 to go. And he better get down to the bottom or he's going to lose third place too to Matt Kenseth. Doesn't happen. He does get to the bottom. Now it's Dale Jr.'s turn. Everybody on these equal tires. I don't think Biffle's as fast as what he was earlier in the day. He hasn't made any adjustment changes in this race after he qualified on the pole, so it is definitely likely that these other drivers have made adjustments throughout the course of the race to get their cars faster. Gordon drives it hard again down to the bottom into 3 and 4 to at least get by Dale Jr. Kenseth on the inside of Jr. for third. Jr. with a crossover on Gordon. Biffle gets loose but holds on to the bottom lane. Side by side for second still. Big block on the 8 down to the bottom into turn 3. Both the 16 and the 8 were down on that white line. Biffle really doesn't want anybody else to get back underneath him again. Kenseth for third. He'll get around Gordon. Gordon back to fourth. Junior with another big dive on the bottom of the racetrack. Gordon moves up a spot, passing Kenseth again. 3 of the top 5 have not won yet this season. Dale Jr., Matt Kenseth, and Dale Jarrett now up to 5th. Kurt Busch is back to 6th, and it looks like Ryan Newman's about to get around him for a spot as well. Newman hasn't led since very early in the race. That's assuming Newman, of course, is still on the lead lap. Kenseth again will get by Gordon for 3rd. Both Gordon and Biffle have won multiple races this season as well. Gordon with 2, Biffle with 8. Kenseth might get underneath of Dale Jr. for 2nd. Jr.'s in the wall off turn 2. Kenseth easily has the spot. Biffle down to block Kenseth. Jr. on the outside still. Kenseth gonna go wide. Trying to block the 8. He's clear off of turn 4, and here comes Gordon again. Biffle missed the bottom. And here comes Kenseth off of turn 2. The Roush cars are side by side. Kenseth is clear and he's in the lead. Biffle down to block Gordon for 2nd. Biffle hard to the bottom. Flatlines it into 3 and 4 to get back to the inside of the 17, or at least attempted to, but couldn't get there. Blocks Gordon back to the outside. Kenseth leads for the first time all day long. Oh, a big block. Gordon's in the wall in turns 1 and 2 back behind. He'll lose some ground. Down to 21 laps left. And Dale Jarrett underneath Dale Jr. for 4th. Oh, Kenseth got loose. Biffle closes as he intimidated his teammate. Oh, but Biffle just cracked the wall on the back straightaway. That didn't do anything. Not anything good, at least. 20 to go. Oh, he got him loose! Oh, but it's Gordon who's going to get to the lead. Oh, no! Jeff Gordon leads at Rockingham. More contact between the 17 and the 16. Kenseth got the run off the outside. Casey Kane out of nowhere is up a spot. Biffle moves his teammate. Biffle to 2nd. Gordon leads. Roush cars got together. And Jeff Gordon leads now. Casey Kane out of nowhere up to 3rd. He hasn't led all day long. Racing continues. We're in for a wild finish. Yes, we are. Gordon too far away, though. Biffle's trying to put some good laps together to run him back down again. Biffle's about 1/10 of a second quicker than Gordon that last lap once he finally calmed down a little bit. Doesn't quite round the bottom out as well as Gordon, though, through 3 and 4 that time. Maybe 0.03 of a second quicker that last time at the line for Biffle over Gordon. Biffle trying to intimidate Jeff Gordon. He intimidated Dale Jr. on 3 separate occasions to take the lead from him earlier in the race. We'll see if he can do it on the 24. So 16 of the 24, battle hard to the end. Could it be rookie Casey Kane getting his first career win today? He'd be the 2nd rookie to win this season if that was the case. We'll have 13 laps to go at the start-finish line. Oh, Gordon's loose! Gordon got loose. He's going to go to the apron trying to take a shortcut into turn 1. And he holds on to the lead. Biffle closed mightily because of it. But Gordon was desperate to block the bottom and make sure that Biffle wasn't going to get around him on the outside. Into turn 3. Biffle down low. He's under Gordon. And he's going to make sure he's going to stay there. Drives it deep into turn 1. Biffle on the bottom. Gordon on the outside. Side by side for third further back. Jarrett will get the pass on Casey Kane as well. Biffle's clear of Gordon off of turn 2. $11 to go at the line. Casey Kane with a crossover back to the inside of Dale Jarrett for position. Gordon overdrives, turns 3 and 4. Biffle leads with 10 to go, and he's got about 3 to 4 car lengths over Gordon. Quarter tank of gas left for Biffle. We know he's plenty good to the end. Everybody else should be as well. You would think. Especially with all the late cautions we've had. Be about a 60-lap green flag run roughly to the finish. We had a lot of cautions in the beginning of the run. I believe Matt Kenseth is potentially up to third. It's hard to tell for sure, but I think he is in third place. Casey Kane back to at least 5th. Jarrett is in 4th. Biffle really loose into turn 3. Gordon didn't go to the bottom, though. He went to the outside. How much momentum is that going to give him on the front stretch? Down into turn 1. Not enough, at least. Gordon again going a little bit wide. Trying to build momentum up for the straightaway, running that middle to upper groove. Into turn 3 he goes, but he can't get underneath Greg Biffle. Oh, Gordon to the outside. He almost got there. Biffle only got passed up there once today. And he might have been crossed over because that was a good fake by Gordon to go high and then swing to the bottom. He leads. Biffle's going to drive it deep into turn 3. He slides down onto the apron. Up the racetrack now. All over Jeff Gordon. Gordon's in the wall. Biffle makes contact off of turn 4. Gordon made the mistake, but it actually allowed him to hold on to the lead. Biffle got into the side of him. Jarrett on the inside of Kenseth. Biffle's there again into 3. He overdrives it. He slides up the racetrack. 5 to go at the line for Jeff Gordon. Junior to the inside of Kenseth for 4th as Jarrett is clear and he wants a shot to win his first race of the year. Biffle's going to flatline it into 3. He's trying to get underneath Jeff Gordon. Couldn't hold the corner. 4 to go. It's a little better in 3 and 4. Gordon might be a little better in 1 and 2, although that time Biffle actually closed on Gordon through turns 1 and 2. And he'll close a little bit more in 3 and 4. Big run coming. Biffle is under Gordon. Side by side for the lead. There's a bit of contact. Gordon holds on the outside. And blocks the bottom into turn 3. 2 to go at the line. Dale Jr. is up to 3rd. He's looking for his first win of the year as well. 2nd place at Infineon last night. Biffle on the bottom. Gordon on the outside. Gordon again trying to hold strong on the top. Biffle gets into him. There's contact. They're in the wall. Biffle's down into the inside wall as he's going to lose multiple spots on the back straightaway. Jeff Gordon drives off and he tries to hold off the field now as Biffle's all the way back to 10th. White flag. 1 lap to go. for Jeff Gordon, and Biffle just lost a ton of points on the back straightaway. As we stayed green through it all. Now he has to fend off Labonte with a damaged car for 10th. Checkered flag waves, win number 3 for Jeff Gordon, and that is his 3rd win in the last 6 races. Top 10 for Biffle after running 2nd with 2 to go. And for the 2nd straight late race, he loses at least 8 positions in the final lap and a half. Wow. Biffle had him, and they both kind of ran wide, and Gordon hit the wall off of turn 2. Biffle got into it. It was the same thing that happened off of turn 4 a couple laps prior, but that time Biffle just got sideways after the contact, and down to the inside wall he went. Damaged the left front of his race car pretty good, and he fell all the way back to 10th. After leading the most laps today. What a tough break there. Dale Jr. for the 2nd straight race will finish in 2nd. That's going to close that points gap up quite a bit. Gordon was 3rd in points, but he was quite a ways back, but he'll gain as well. Casey Kane, the rookie, finishes 3rd. Looks like Gordon led the 2nd most laps today at 56 laps led. Dale Jr. led 53. Casey Kane didn't lead any, but finished 3rd. Kenseth led 5 laps late, finished 4th. Ryan Newman rounds out the top 5, finishing 5th, leading 17 laps. Michael Waltrip finished 6th. Another great day for him, keeping him in the top 10 in points. Dale Jarrett will finish in 7th. He led some laps. Tony Stewart led 2 laps very early on, finishing 8th. Kurt Busch 9th. And there you see Greg Biffle led 218 of the 393 laps today, but he finishes in 10th. Man, what a tough break. I was not expecting that. Yeah, there's always tomorrow. And tomorrow night we go to Daytona for the Pepsi 400. Our coverage is set to begin at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do have an oil change appointment after work tomorrow. I originally had it for Saturday, but I had to adjust it for Friday. So I will get home as soon as I can. Worst case scenario, we end up streaming at 6:30 instead of 6 o'clock, but I'll keep you guys posted in the live commentary on when I'm about to leave the place I'm getting my oil change done. Top 10, but disappointed how to finish. Yeah, I know it. Another top 10. That's 12 on the year in the first 15 races, but that, yeah, like you said, that's not the way we would have wanted a top 10, especially leading 218 laps. I mean, those late cautions, though, really did it. If we didn't have even the 2nd caution of the race today, which led into the 3rd, which led to the 4th, which allowed for everybody to make it on field instead of just Greg Biffle. And Biffle might have been able to have an easy win, but one caution led to another, and the sad part was that Biffle wasn't even involved in any of them. They were just random cautions from the AI. And hard battling for the win there between Gordon and Biffle. When you think big picture, Biffle might have... It's tough to say that only halfway through the season, you know, and you try to win the race. But in hindsight, now that Biffle finished 10th going for the win, probably would have been better off just to, you know, keep the clean day, and if we couldn't get around him, we would have finished 2nd. So definitely pushed a little hard there. It was Gordon who hit the wall, and then we, you know, hit him after he hit the wall, but we were sliding up the track too, which led us into that position. When Gordon hit the wall, we had nowhere to go because we were going up a little wide as well. So, I mean, yeah, if Gordon didn't hit the wall, we could have been side by side for the lead down the back, but because he did get in the wall, we were in that position. So, yeah, again, that is unfortunate. We're going to check those point standings out with Dale Jr. getting 5 bonus points and finishing 2nd for the 2nd straight race. We got to see what this is looking like right now, but that is the 3rd win for Jeff Gordon this season. And there it is, Pepsi 400 under the lights at Daytona tomorrow night on the channel. Waiting for the game to load. Biffle still has the points lead. It's down to 50. 2 races ago, it was 137 points, and after the last 2 races, 15th and 10th, Dale Jr. second in both, has cut the lead down to 50 points. Pretty tight going into Dale Jr., one of Dale Jr.'s best tracks. Greg Biffle does have 1 career win there, but as far as myself, again, I've never won a cup race at Daytona on an EA Sports video game on the channel. 0 for 2, or I should say 0 for... Man, how many races we have on NASCAR Thunder 2004? We had 2 Daytona 500s, 2 Pepsi 400s, and then we had a 3rd Daytona race one season. So 0 for 5 on Thunder 04, 3 on this game. So we're 0 for 8 on Cup Series races on the EA Sports games on the channel. Points races at Daytona. That's not counting the 1 dual win we have on this game, which would have been our Chase for 8 season with Jimmy Johnson. But yeah, so 0 for 8. We'll see what tomorrow night will bring. Again, bare minimum, we just have to have a good points day. We had a good points day today. That's the sad part. You know, I'm bummed out about a 10th place finish because we led 218 last, but it was still a solid points day. It could have been better, though, even if we just would have not gotten sideways with 2 to go and just held on to finish second. That's disappointing, but hey, we have less than 24 hours to try and make it back up again. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good rest of your night. Go Blue. Hopefully they can beat Nova. And I'll see you guys back at Better Than Ever again tomorrow. 20 likes on the stream, so like and subscribe on your way out of the channel tonight. Our goal was 25. We'll see if we can get there within the next hour or so after the stream. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy.